Oh, but I'll go take some crash out steroid and inject it in my body or SARM, not knowing exactly what's in it.
I can't keep up with the lingo. And so first we're talking about having a cracked out physique. Now we're talking about a crashed out steroid. What are the different terms? Does everything start with CR? Is everything starting with a cracked out physique, crushed up steroids, crumble cookies? I can't keep up with this. Coach Greg, in today's video, Alex Eubank is going all in against social media influencers who are promoting or condoning the use of steroids. As you know, I've stated in the past that Alex Eubank I didn't believe was 100% natural. But since that time, I do believe he's reconsidered. He's perhaps watched my videos, Jeff Nippard videos, Will Tennyson videos, and said, I don't want to be a part of this. And with Mike Israetel in the forefront of guys who need to quit doing steroids right now, this video, very important. We're going to see who are the fitness influencers he's complaining about, what can be done. Let's get right into it.
That just means that there's probably some pinners out there. So let's go.
Wait, that is actually wild. I've never seen that before.
I hate to break it to you. Actually, no, I love breaking it to you. It's not only warranted, it's justified. A place to put your needles. Many people are insulin-dependent diabetics. They go to a restaurant, they're at the gym, and they go hypoglycemic and have to inject insulin. Without insulin, they could pass out, they could die, they need to consume sugar. And so this is something that these people have to live with every single day. They're often injecting insulin, and so they need a place to discard their needles safely. Because without these devices, do you know what people do? They place the needle in the garbage. In the garbage. And what do you think happens when the garbage person, man, female, circle, whatever, picks up that trash? What if they didn't put the cover on? Here in Canada, we have these in many different places, oftentimes in bathroom stalls. In the United States, where they're perhaps behind the times in comparison to Canada, well, maybe it's time the United States get these as well.
They have a place to put your needles into at the gym. There's no way that's like legal.
I should also remind you that here in Canada, using steroids is legal. As in, you're allowed to have testosterone, tren, whatever, and no one can do anything about it. They are not legal to sell, but you are allowed to purchase them and use them. In the United States, it's illegal. You can't buy or use steroids unless it's with the advice and permission from a doctor. Now, if you do in fact need your blood work drawn, you need to see if you're healthy, you need to see if you need HRT, you can go and get it from Transcend. You know I partnered with Transcend. Click the link in description where their medical team can direct you and what to do next.
The whole concept of what a good physique is has been like, it's so far from what the truth is now. You see like these cracked physiques go viral, whatnot, all these younger guys, 17-year-olds.
I mean, with this Gen Z stuff, I gotta look everything up. A cracked physique. I thought cracked meant it was like all messed up and not good, but it sounded like he was giving the guy a compliment. 20 minutes later. All right, so I was unable to find out what a cracked physique was, but in the context of what he's saying right now and referring to bodybuilders, I think that cracked out means freaky, like awesome, like wow. I hope.
Back in 2020, 2021, when I started, the people were more so afraid. Like posting your physique wasn't as common in, younger teens and young adults and whatnot. Now everyone does it.
And so a long time ago, when Alex started posting pictures, 4 years ago, it wasn't common for teenagers to have amazing physiques. People weren't posting them all the time. But now, fast forward 4 years, you see it every single day. Kids who have mind-blowing transformations. I had a guy on the phone last night, a phone consult. Obviously, I'm not going to mention his name, but he started taking SARMs when he was 15. He had horrendous gyno. I said that's the third worst case of gyno I've ever seen. And after that, he had to perform surgery. He removed a ton of gynecomastia. After that time, he trained for 3 years, made 0 gains. He never got bigger, never got stronger. And so after 3 years, getting frustrated with not making any gains, he then decided to go on steroids, namely testosterone. But even with 1 milligram of Arimidex every single day and only being on 400 milligrams of test a week, he developed gyno again. This guy is far younger than Alex Eubanks, but wants to be a famous social media influencer. And with a physique like he has, I do believe he can do it. And so here lies the problem. If he develops a physique, perhaps to the size of Sam Sulek, Chris Bumstead, the Trent twins, or maybe even Togi, this could possibly propel himself into stardom and make millions of dollars. People are willing to risk everything, even at 15 years of age, in order to build muscle because they don't like themselves enough. And why don't they like themselves? Because of social media.
They're seeing more of it now, so they think that that's like the new standard. That's what you have to reach. But bro, there's still, as it was before, the 0.001% of people can have physiques like that.
And so your brain is being warped. And remember, your brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25. And so if you're using steroids as a teenager, you can't even properly digest the information that's being provided to you. And so you might want to develop that physique, but at that age, you can't make that decision. Well, at least not an educated one because you're not ready. And so you do these things, you take these drugs, for example, Togi, you show your entire cycle. And so he makes a video, says, hey, see my blood work, it's all good. No big problems after all. But yet I looked at his blood work and it is horrendous. So bad, I'm making a video, just like Dr. Mike, he needs to stop. He's in his early 20s and it's horror awful. Horrible.
People will even bash my physique. Now I see it all the time in my comments, like, yo, like his physique is mid, all this, when it's funny because 2 years ago people would glaze me for my physique.
And so 2 years ago he was glazed for having a good physique. I believe that's putting something on a donut, the glazing. And so I think that means they wanted him to oil up. And so 2 years ago, they wanted Alex Eubank to oil up because he had a sexy body. But now in 2024, he's mid. Look at him. I'm mogging him. This guy ain't it. He's not even podium. But now it's mid, blah, whatever. Dime a dozen. Doesn't have enough muscle.
2 years, my physique just became not cool anymore and people were like, yo, Alex, why hasn't your physique changed in the last 3 years? I've been training for 7-8 years. Like, I don't expect my physique to have many changes moving forward.
I did, in fact, say that Alex Eubank, I do believe, took SARMs in the past, perhaps MK677. And also, I believe he took enclomiphene. And so if he's trying to now build muscle to progress without using those items, it's going to be next to impossible. And so in my opinion, the reason we don't see his physique improving is because he was once taking things in the past, but has since reconsidered, said, this life ain't it. I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I am now more mature. He's getting closer to 25. His brain is nearly fully developed. And he's thinking, I made some big mistakes. I'm done with it. And for me, I'm happy he's done so.
I would say I have like top 10% genetics of your average male, maybe 5, I don't know.
Imagine if Alex Eubank only had the top 10 or 5% genetics of the average male. It's top 1% with ease. Do you really think that 5 to 10% of the population can look like Alex Eubank by just working out as a teenager? It's not even close to that. He's probably 0.1% genetics. And the reason he thinks he's 5 or 10% is because Alex has been brainwashed just like you guys. You're watching Sam Suleks and Trent twins and so on, and you're seeing all these incredible physiques, and you're thinking, well, a lot of guys are bigger than me. Probably 5% of guys have more muscle than me. They look better. No, it's because you're being constantly bombarded by images on social media of the top 1% of the top 1%. And so you're being shown the top 0.01% of the best physiques.
That's the issue. And it's a comparison, bro. Comparison is a thief of joy. Stop comparing yourself to other people. It is the stupidest thing ever.
Exactly. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. If I start comparing myself to the best physiques in the world, I'm suddenly not going to feel good about myself. If I compare myself to all the 48-year-olds out there, for the most part, I can be better than most of them. But if I pick the top 1,000 physiques in the world, age 48, and line them up against me, I'm going to be last place. And so I'll feel horrible. Oh my God, there's 1,000 guys that all look better than me. Look at their physiques. Well, maybe I shouldn't compare myself to the best of the best. Maybe just stop comparing.
The only thing that you should compare yourself to is you a year ago. That's what I do.
And so here's the thing. Even if you only compare yourself with yourself, eventually you're not going to get any better. Hate to break it to you, but you can improve forever. And so if you go to the gym and you keep saying, I'm going to be better than I was last year, what happens when you're 40? At 40 years of age, if you've been training your entire life, you're probably not going to be better than when you're 39. So eventually you just have to be happy with yourself. And so why not just train harder than last time? Go to the gym and do your best and be proud of your results. The fact that you're going to the gym, the fact that you're doing your cardio, that you're putting the fork down and eating healthy, the fact that you're not morbidly obese, you should be proud of that. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Oh, but I'll go take some crash out steroid and inject it in my body or SARM, not knowing exactly what's in it.
I can't keep up with the lingo. And so first we're talking about having a cracked out physique. Now we're talking about a crashed out steroid. What are the different terms? Does everything start with CR? Is everything starting with a cracked out physique, crushed up steroids, crumble cookies? I can't keep up with this.
We were like planning on taking it together. But
Okay.
Taking it together is crazy. What is like a date with your best friend?
I mean, it's not like going on a date, but here's the thing. If you're nervous about something and somebody else is doing the same thing, your friend or buddy, you're much more likely to do it. Just think of it. What happens in the real world with recreational drugs and so on? Peer pressure. You're pressured into drinking. Say you're in high school somewhere and you're hanging out with a couple of your buddies and two of them are drinking alcohol. They say, hey, do you want to drink? Much harder to say no if your two buddies are not drinking and you want to drink. They might be saying, why are you drinking? We're not drinking. And so if you have friends who are taking steroids and or SARMs, you're much more likely to do it. You are most like your 5 closest friends. And so if your 5 closest friends are at the gym and they're taking steroids, then you're much more likely to take steroids.
T-Bone Trend Twins.
Yeah.
Like Sam Sulik pops up a lot.
Really? And everybody wanted to shit on Alex Eubank about what a year ago I made a video giving my opinions of Sam.
Alex Eubank claps back. He talked about Sam Sulik a year ago, said, hey, this guy is going to be the reason why many people take steroids. He's not saying it's because he's glorifying it, but simply the look of him. The size of his physique and the popularity he's getting, it's going to encourage other people to do steroids. Why? They want to look like him. They want to emulate him, to copy him. And so if they know that there's no way you can get that physique while being natural, and that's their hero, you're going to want to look like your hero. And if our idols are taking steroids, it's much more likely you're also going to take steroids.
It does things that just destroy your being, right? If you don't do it right, if you're not like a C-bum and you're a multi-millionaire, you can get all the right resources to take it in a healthy way.
Alex, you can't do steroids safely. You can't. Unless it's HRT prescribed by a doctor, anything else, it's not safe. Alex is making look like, hey, if you have a lot of resources, if you're a guy like Chris Bumstead, you can do it safely. Chris Bumstead's getting his blood work done, and so it's safe. It's not safe. It's not even close. Chris Bumstead has to stop real soon. I'm surprised he hasn't already retired.
It's when sometimes I have issues when they kind of tend to glorify it too much. They talk too much about how crazy the pump is, how they look, how they feel insane.
And so he's saying, look, when the Trend Twins, for example, are saying how good they look, how good they feel, how the pumps are insane. And remember, the Trend Twins are in Trend Tech shirts. They're talking about taking Trend, and they're yelling and screaming and cursing, having a good time, looking incredible. Do you not think that encourages people to take test, Trend, steroids, SARMs, something?
When you should equally go into like how bad that shit is for you, and like everything to be like, you should never take this stuff is awful for you.
And so unless those famous YouTubers taking steroids go over all the negative consequences as much and as often as they do the positives, you're going to be, without even knowing it, subconsciously encouraging people to use steroids.
Unless you were competing professionally and that's like what you're trying to do for a career, I really don't see a point in it.
Here's the thing. I don't know if people can understand this. The people who are not professionals, who just have shitty physiques and want to look better, these people want it just as much, if not more, than even Chris Bumstead. Do you really think that Chris Bumstead needs all that muscle, more so than the average Joe who just wants to look good, perhaps have a girl look at him once for the first time in his life? Do you not understand what it's like to be below average? Well, no, they probably don't. But remember this, if you have a below average physique, far below mid, and you can't get a girl, you can't get anyone's attention, and all you want is validation, can you not understand why that person would be more tempted to use steroids, even more so than someone competing for the Mr. Olympia title? And so I don't think that the people that should be using steroids are just the competitors. I think that no one should be using them, but of course some people are. But I believe that the person who isn't competing, the person with a below average physique that has no chance of turning pro, that person has equal rights to be an idiot and a moron as the person competing for the Mr. Olympia title.
99% of the people who are watching and who are considering it in the first place are not in a position that these guys are in. Sam, C-Bump.
Well, maybe they don't want to be as famous as Sam or Chris Bumstead. Maybe they want to just be average. Maybe they're so far below average, maybe they have 100 followers. and no one ever writes them. No one talks about them. No one wants to date them. No one cares about them. And they're thinking, well, if I could put on maybe 20 pounds of muscle and perhaps look average, maybe then someone will look at me. Maybe then I'll garner someone's attention.
Because they have the resources to take it in a healthy way versus 99% of their following are not going to have it that way.
I don't know how to break that to people. No one can go for the Mr. Olympia title in a healthy fashion. There's no such thing. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. Be like saying, hey, I'm going to crash on this bicycle going 100 kilometers an hour in the Tour de France in a healthy way. I'm going to wear a helmet. I'm going to have elbow pads. You're going 100 kilometers an hour. You can't crash safely.
I think there should be more talk from these guys openly saying, like, don't take it. Don't take it. It's stupid. Don't take it.
You know that I've done a number of videos about Alex Eubank, but I do believe that if he watches my videos right now, he's going to be thinking, yeah, that is what we need. We need somebody speaking out against it, explaining all of the dangers, being upfront, open, honest, and transparent. And yeah, I know many of you are saying I'm a hypocrite. I used steroids for 10 years. Yeah, but I stopped. And I'm saying from experience, don't do it. Remember, I didn't take them before my brain was finished developing. I'd already competed 42 times. I'd already hit my genetic limit. And so if we could only convince people to wait, the longer you wait, the smarter your decisions are going to be. Now, remember, people are going to do what they're going to do. But if they're young, under the age of 25, we need to be careful. We need to be more careful than last time. And so can we not at least begin with natural supplements, GO2 Max, Turk Builder, Ecti Builder, supplements that definitely can help you, but are not going to cause you to lose your natty status. And so don't use steroids, at least maximize the use of supplements first. Code Greg, 15% off.
I hear this too, because it's like the same, like people just never happy with their physique. Like I'm cool with my physique personally.
I would say for the most part, almost no one is happy with their physique. Almost no one. Alex is saying he's happy with physique. But remember, many people are saying that Alex Eubank is a hypocrite. Why are you acting so above all this when it wasn't even that long ago that you were getting tempted to take stuff? Only difference is you've moved on from all of it and these guys are still stuck in the fitness gym talk era. And so here's the thing. Alex Eubank, even a year ago, was talking about, I'm considering going on test. I'm considering taking this. I'm considering taking that. He wasn't happy with his physique. He was being called mid, that he needed to go on a bulk, that he needed to put on more muscle. And so here's what I think happened. Alex Eubank reflected on this, said, why would I take steroids? Perhaps he was ready to do so and was thinking, the only reason I'm really doing this is to appease the fans. But he looked at his physique and said, what am I complaining about? I have a physique better than 99.999% of the population. And so why do I need to resort to taking steroids? Alex Eubank was confronted with the same pressures, only more so than all of you. He's being viewed by millions of people, judged on how he looks. And so of course he was tempted. And does that not make Alex an even better role model for other people? Saying, look, I was tempted to do the same thing. I felt my physique was mid. I had body dysmorphia, but I've thought about it. I've considered it. I've watched the videos. I've researched it. And I don't want to risk my life. I don't want to take those chances. And so I'm going to train natural. Even if my physique doesn't improve for the rest of my life, I'm happy with it. I'm training harder than last time. I'm eating properly and I look and feel good. Why risk it? I've never heard such a hypocritical guy in my life. Like only a year ago, this guy was crying about not being big enough and wanting to bulk. But now he has no financial worries. He's clapping back at everyone, wanting to go down the same path he wanted to. But you know what is oftentimes a bigger motivation than money? Acceptance, being accepted by your peers. Case in point, Mike Israetel. He has all the money in the world, doesn't need a dime. But yet, he wants an IFBB Pro card. Why? For validation. I am the smartest guy on YouTube. I've studied my entire life. I have a PhD, but I don't have an IFBB Pro card. And I want it so bad, I'm willing to risk my life for it. For what? Validation. He says it's for money. I believe it's for validation. He wants to get accepted. I am an IFBB Pro. Have it, Mike Israetel, IFBB Pro, in his Instagram stories. If Mike Israetel is willing to risk his life at the age of perhaps 39, how do you think teenagers feel? They don't even care about living a long life. They're willing to risk it all right now for the glory. Not the glory hole, well, maybe, but for the glory, the acceptance from their peers, perhaps girls, guys, and so on.
When you take gear like that, you just look like Shrek on gear, bro. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't look appealing and healthy.
And so here's the thing, Alex. Not everyone who takes steroids is going to look like they're jacked out, cracked out, cap delts, oh my goodness, crazy physiques. 99% are not. The majority of people that take steroids are just going to look a bit bigger. That's all it's going to do. To have those crazy physiques, the ones you see on stage from bodybuilders, it's all about the diet. Yeah, drugs has to do with it, but you got to diet harder than last time. And unless you diet, you're not going to have that freaky looking physique.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic Greek god vibe, that whole era, Jeff Side, that old era. That's the David Lade. That's what I grew up watching.
He lists out, I wanted to look like Jeff Seed and David Lade. Jeff Seed and David Lade were not natural. Sorry to break it to you. You say, oh, I don't want to use steroids. I just want to look like Jeff Seed and David Lade. 99.999% of people are going to need to take steroids to look like Jeff Seed and David Lade. Nah, listen, he said that, but think about if he was damn near being bullied on the social media for being small. Remember? Then he basically got peer pressured into a bulk that he didn't want to do just because people kept saying why he keeps cutting, that he needs to grow, blah, blah, blah. It's afterwards that he was saying he wants to put himself first and what he wants for his body as opposed to his audience, even if that's going to cost him the views. It's not hypocritical. It's just that he was pressured into bulking to prove something to the audience, but he never even wanted to be bigger or stronger. And so he's already gotten the physique that he wants. But let's assume that Alex Eubank had 20 pounds less muscle. He had the same face, the same genetics, the same frame, but he had 20 pounds less of muscle. And why would he have 20 pounds less muscle? Maybe he didn't have the genetics to put on a lot of muscle. Maybe he had an ectomorphic frame and it wasn't conducive to putting on muscle. And he'd been training for 7 years and he was 20 pounds smaller than he is right now. And he said, I want to have the Jeff Seed, David Lade physique. And his dream physique would be how he looks right now. What do you think he would be tempted to do? Do you not think he would be tempted to do SARMs and or steroids? Of course he would. He'd be looking at social media, seeing Jeff Side, David Lade, guys with Alex Eubanks' physiques, and thinking, I want to look like that. And so he would take steroids to get there. Do you not think that that is likely what would have happened? And so it's easier for Alex Eubank to say, hey, don't use steroids because you don't need to get any bigger. Steroids are just going to make you look like a freak. You don't need that. When the reality is most people, even with steroids, won't look like Alex Eubank. And so I understand why people are saying he's hypocritical. But remember, he still cares about you. It's easier for Alex Eubank, perhaps, to not do it. But at the same time, it might be harder. Because no matter how good his physique is, people are going to want him to get better. There is pressure on social media to become bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. And the bigger and badder his physique becomes, the more it stands out, the more people are going to click on it. Do you think that the Trend Twins are getting more views then, or the Trend Twins getting more views now? If the Trend Twins were 100% natural, I personally believe less people would be following them. If they said, hey, we're here training natural for our next show, and they competed and they looked like perhaps Jesse James, I think fewer people would have watched them. It would be very difficult for the Trend Twins to ever go natural, to cut out the steroids and continue to make videos. And so you have to understand, once you go down that path, it's very difficult to stop.
When you find it in your physique, when I get you don't really have nothing else going in your life, so you see your muscles getting bigger, it gives you that sense of validation, but then it's like you just want more and more, because how us humans are, we chase more and more. We like to see progress.
Exactly. It's all about the validation. The more validation you get, the more you're going to want. You're never going to feel satisfied. No matter how good you get, it's the paradox of proxy. Is that what it's called? I forget what it's called. Paradox of proxy or whatever. The closer you get to your end goal, the further you're going to be. You will never be satisfied. As you approach it, the line gets further. You can never reach that line. Even if you're Chris Bumstead and you win the title 5 times, it's not enough. I need 6. How many times is enough? 9? And then eventually you're going to retire, and then what? Eventually you have to accept that you're not going to get any better. You're not going to get more glory. You're not going to get more validation. The validation, it has to come from within. The fact that I am enough. Me, right now, I'm enough. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I have to prove things to myself, that I can do it natural, that I can avoid the temptations that other people have resorted to. Yeah, they're going to get more validation than you. They're bigger, they're leaner, whatever. But you know in your heart of hearts that you're 100% natural and you don't have anything to prove. And what is more alpha than that? What is more manly than realizing that you in fact are enough? That you don't have to prove jack shit to no one. Why are you trying to impress somebody from Bangladesh? You've never bet them. Oh, I care about them calling me, saying I have a mid physique. It makes no sense. You have to stop giving a shit about what other people think of you. You be your best self. You have to care about what you think. You know when you put in your best effort. You know when you can be proud. When you trained hard in the gym, when you've eaten healthy, when you perhaps studied the best you can do, when you've done the best you can do to build your relationships with your family, friends, significant other, and so on. You know that. You know when you can be proud of who you are as a person. It doesn't take millions of other followers to write nice things about you in the comment section for you to feel good.
I probably would have been like the same thing. I would have probably been like, maybe once I hit my natural potential, maybe if I'm not satisfied. And now that I'm able to see what it does to people, it's not worth it.
And so Alex Eubank, he's seen in his personal friends with other people. Remember, he called out the trend twins. He says, I've seen them change. When they were natural versus enhanced, I've seen them change. And for me, it's not worth it.
Unless you're like trying to be C-Bum and you actually have the potential to be like that C-Bum, I don't see the reason in taking it.
Oh, but unless you have C-Bum money, unless you have C-Bum's potential, you shouldn't do it. No one should do it. You're 18 years of age. You look amazing. You think Chris Bumstead started taking steroids at 18 years of age. And so if you're 18 years old and you have an amazing physique and you think you might be the next C-Bum, should you now have the pass, the hall pass to take steroids? I don't think so.
But you're willing to risk all this just to get a little bit bigger? Like, for what reason?
So that somebody will look at you twice when you take off your shirt at the beach. So that somebody will click on you on Hinge. That they'll swipe right instead of left. So that somebody at the bar will say, hey, those are some jacked arms. So that your girlfriend would say, wow, you have a nice physique. So that you could sell supplements. Whatever the reason may be, people are going to do it. Not saying they're good reasons, but they are certainly reasons that they're thinking, that is what I want.
Test and Primo. A lot of the side effects can be mitigated if you take it properly.
Correct, I think.
Incorrect. Well, at least by mitigated, key lessened. Let's say a steroid causes 100 points of bad. 100 points bad. You take all the anti-steroid helping products you can take, it's only 80% bad. It's still 80% bad. It's not good. We even sell blood work from HCLT. Do you really think that taking blood work is going to undo all the damages of taking steroids? It's certainly going to help. Instead of 100 points bad, it's going to be 80. It's still 80.
This guy is trying to be IFBB pro. If that's what he's trying to do for a living, he looks like he's pretty jacked. Like, he looks like he knows what he's doing.
You're saying that because of how he looks. If he had a pro card, you'd say, oh, well, it's worth it for him. Look at his physique. But imagine all the people that aren't pros yet. For example, Mike Israetel, they want the pro card because then people will look at you and say, he knows what he's doing. But do they? Do they really? If this guy was 100% natural and said, I'm going to take steroids because I want to be an IB pro, would you look at him and say, oh, yeah, I think you should because, like, look at your physique? No. You'd say, don't do it. But because he's already on steroids, already has the muscle, you're thinking, yeah, keep going. Don't keep going.
I'm on steroids.
You're on steroids?
Yeah.
What?
Like, what do you want? If you're open to talking about it.
What?
Test and Primo.
What?
See, this is the thing that gets me. Alex Eubank is shocked that this 20-year-old's on steroids. He's thinking, he's not much bigger than me. He's like my size. He's on steroids for that? What would he look like without the steroids? He might be 10 or 20 pounds smaller. And so the steroids allowed him to look like this. He just wanted to look mid. And by the way, this isn't a mid physique. This is an outstanding physique, far, far above average. But he's looking at him and thinking, steroids? I can't believe he takes steroids just to look like this.
It's been 12 weeks now.
12 weeks, and have you noticed like a crazy gain?
He's not. He hasn't been on long. I was about to say he's not big. A year, bro?
And so people have an image in their head that if you take steroids, you're gonna look like the Trend Twins. You're not. This on steroids is likely bigger and better than most people are going to look. The guy's 20, he's been on steroids for a year. You really think that most 20-year-olds on steroids look bigger than this? It doesn't work like that.
You hop on gear, you crash out?
He's hopped on and he crashed out. I don't know if this means he went in a bike accident and he crashed. He was in a car crash. His physique crashed. Is that a bad thing? He crashed out. I'm lost. Gen Z don't get ya. He called that dude a crash out, LMAO. Like, what the fuck? And so, what is a crash physique? Let me know in the comments section.
Anything that comes fast don't stay last. Everything
that comes fast was probably harder than last time. Code Greg, 15% off.
Do you think that the fitness industry is glorifying steroids right now?
Yes, for sure.
You do?
Like the Trend Twins he was just talking about. They're the goats.
And so you see Alex Eubank when the guys list the Trend Twins as saying, hey, it's being glorified. And so despite the fact that they might say, hey, we're not glorifying it, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're not encouraging it, it's still being glorified by them. You have to realize this.
Look at Togi. I mean, he blew off of taking steroid edits. Like, and he's on his path to become a very financially wealthy man.
Except he gambles it all away like an idiot, but he's also on his path to dying an early death, to digging his grave earlier than last time. His blood work is horrendous, but yet, oh, it's all fine. No, it is not.
I can't think of people who are claiming natural who blast gear because you get more love when you're open about it now.
What Alex is saying is the truth. More people now are glorifying steroids because if you're open about it, you get more views than if you don't. If you literally say, hey, I'm on this, I'm on that, I take this, more people are watching you than if you're 100% natural. That is what's happening in 2024. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like this video if you liked it, watch one of those 2 bloops, and of course, the cookbooks, the training books, the Circle Diet book, coaching plans by me and my team. If you got no money, get the free diet and training program. It's on my website. Join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.